Hey, what's going on, everybody? Welcome back to the Mid-Level Media channel, your hub for everything physical media and entertainment. I am Ken. Today, guys, look, it's been a while since I've done a review. Well, I dropped my Cruising review last week. It's been a while since I filmed a review. I've got a lot of stuff to catch up on, but we're here today to talk about Constantine on 4K. Okay, I just got this in from Warner Brothers, and by the time I put this review out, it'll have already been out, so it is available now for you to purchase. I'll leave the link down below in the description if you're interested. I think the regular 4K is $25.99. Now, there is a steelbook, or there was a steelbook to go along with this. It is now sold out on Amazon and also groove.com. I don't know if they're going to put any more back in stock. It's possible. It's a nice steelbook. It is a nice steelbook. I like the color scheme on it. I like all the fiery and Keanu. The artwork's nice, I guess is what I'm trying to say. But yeah, you can maybe check that out at a later date if they put it back in stock, but I'll link it down below just in case, okay? But yeah, we're going to talk about Constantine on 4K. Going to talk about the movie. I'm going to talk about the transfer, guys. What did I think of it? Is it worth upgrading over your Blu-ray? Now, honestly, I don't have the Blu-ray, and I've never seen the Blu-ray. I haven't seen this movie since the theaters back in 2005, so I'm not going to really be able to compare it to the Blu-ray because the Blu-ray is also not included in this release. But you know, I am going to be able to tell you if it is a good-looking 4K. So we're going to talk about that. We're going to talk about the audio as well. We're going to talk about special features. There's some new stuff here, guys. And then we're going to do a little unboxing. But before we get into it, guys, hit that like button. Hit that subscribe button if you haven't already. We talk about all things physical media here on this channel. Blu-rays, 4Ks, owning the movies that you love. All that stuff there behind me every single day. So if you like that kind of stuff, that kind of content, definitely consider hitting that subscribe button. Also, comment down below, guys, if you plan on getting this. What's your thoughts on Constantine? Let me know all that in the comment section below. Okay, let's get into the movie, guys. And I apologize, guys. I am getting over a sickness. I'm trying to get back in front of the camera and start to film some videos again. It's been a bit. It has been a bit. So I'm going to be a little rusty. I apologize. But anyway, talking about Constantine, this is not a great movie to come back on either to talk about, by the way, because look, I saw this back in the theaters, or I saw this in the theaters back in 2005. I didn't love it. And to be honest, like, I just watched this a couple of days ago. I still don't love it. I don't know what it is about this movie. I find it just incredibly mediocre, bland, generic. I cannot get into it. I cannot get into it. So it's not a me back in 2005, 20-year-old kind of thing, because I was 20 back when I saw this. Interesting thing about this release, I just want to say this real quick. The movie actually released in theaters on February the 18th, and this release came out on February the 18th. So it's literally the 20th anniversary of Constantine. But yeah, I don't know. I for some reason, I just cannot get with this movie. I don't know what it is. I like the people that are in it. I like Keanu Reeves. I love Rachel Weisz. I mean, she's like my forever crush since the freaking Mummy back in 1999. But like, even them, like they're so like bland and generic. The one thing I can say about it is that it does go for comedy more than I remembered. I mean, Shia LaBeouf is in this movie a couple of years before he did Transformers. I completely forgot that Shia LaBeouf is in this movie, and he kind of lends a couple of comedic moments here and there. There's some other characters that come in to try to offer some comedy. So there is like moments of levity, because I just remember it being like really like dark and serious like the whole way through. And it is for the most part, but there are some moments of comedy where they at least attempt it. But to be honest, like, I feel like that just messes with the overall like tone of the film and makes it feel a little bit tonally inconsistent. But I mean, Keanu's okay as the character of Constantine. Yeah, not my favorite movie. I still do not like this movie. If you haven't seen Constantine, I'm being honest here, guys. I'm always going to be honest with you. I recommend maybe streaming this movie first. I think it's an extremely subpar superhero film from the 2000s. I mean, this was the era, like, this was right before Batman Begins came out. So this is like right before I feel like DC kind of made a little bit of a comeback with Batman Begins, and then of course The Dark Knight. Now there was a Superman movie in there somewhere, Superman Returns. So I feel like this was like the beginning of like DC making a comeback, but I don't even think most people recognize this as a DC film when it came out. But yeah, it's Tilda Swinton's in the movie. Like, I guess she's okay. It's directed, though. This is an interesting fact about the film. It's directed by Francis Lawrence, and this was his first movie. And he directed a bunch of music videos, as a lot of directors, tend to do. They come from music videos. And the movie, in parts, does feel like a early 2000s music video. In part, so you can certainly see that. But he would go on to direct I Am Legend with Will Smith, which is a movie I really like. I like I Am Legend a lot. And then he would go on to direct, I think, From Catching Fire on in the Hunger Games franchise, all the way up to the new one that just came out, The Ballad of Songbirds and Snakes. So he directed 4 Hunger Games films. I think he directed the Red Sparrow film with Jennifer Lawrence as well. So he's a pretty, accomplished director now. I mean, like, just directing the Hunger Games franchise. I mean, those movies blew the doors off the box office. Yeah, Constantine, I don't know. I just, there's parts of it that are cool, like visually, just from a visual perspective. Like some of the makeup is done okay, I guess, but a good portion of it is like that, early to mid 2000s, CGI that just doesn't age the best. And again, we'll talk about that when we get into the 4K. But yeah, I don't know. I just don't like this movie very much, guys. I apologize. I know there's fans of it. I know that there are. I'm sure I'll get all the crap in the comments section down below, but it's just not my jam. I don't know what you want me to say. Now, getting into the transfer, guys, this is a native 4K. This movie was actually shot on film back in 2005. So it's a native 4K. You got Dolby Vision, you got HDR. And look, like I said, I never watched the Blu-ray because I watched the movie in theaters and I just really never had the desire to watch it again until now. And it looks good. It's a good looking 4K. It didn't blow my mind. Like I said, there is a lot of that very dated CGI. That looks good, with the 4K, but I don't know if the 4K is exactly doing it favors as far as how it holds up over time. If that makes any sense. But the actual real grounded stuff, parts in the movie, scenes in the movie, the up close facial shots, it looks great. I mean, there's some great detail. There's great facial definition. There's great just detail and definition overall as far as the picture. Like I said, there are moments of good, I feel practical special effects that do look really good in the 4K. And some of those scenes in sequences in hell, even though it is very CGI heavy, I feel with that Dolby Vision, with that HDR, those colors are enhanced a little bit more and lend to a more pleasant viewing experience because of that. I don't feel like they would be as bright and as colorful on that Blu-ray. But again, I don't have that Blu-ray to reference when I'm comparing the two. I'm just going off the 4K. It's a good looking 4K. It didn't blow my mind or anything like that, but I thought it looked pretty good. It was a good, solid looking 4K from Warner Brothers. And at this point, Warner Brothers, I feel like they've kind of settled into a groove as far as their 4Ks, and I think they're doing some of their best work now as far as their 4K upgrades. They used to, I feel like I would watch a Warner Brothers 4K and I'd be like, okay, this is good, but I don't feel like it's of the quality that Sony is. I don't feel like it's the quality of Lionsgate, because Lionsgate's done a ton of great 4Ks, but I feel like Warner Brothers is kind of getting there. And I think last year they really kind of cemented themselves with a couple of really great 4Ks, The Searchers was one of them for sure. Twister, I love that. I know not everybody loved it, but I love the Twister 4K. And I feel like they really got a handle on it. They do good quality 4K restorations, and I don't think that Constantine is an exception. I think this is a really good 4K from Warner Bros., and I think that if you are a fan of Constantine, you are going to enjoy the 4K that they put out. Now, getting into the next upgrade here, and that's the sound. I think a lot of people are going to appreciate that this has Dolby Atmos, because there are some big explosive moments in the film. There is several moments in the movie where it just feels like a burst of energy is just injected into this really bland, dull film. But there are moments with big high stakes scenes and things that happen, and big explosive moments, and demons popping out and stuff. And I feel like all that stuff does lend itself to a Dolby Atmos track, and I think a lot of that stuff sounded absolutely phenomenal. Now, I don't have that full Atmos setup. I've got a soundbar that kind of simulates that Atmos and also the 5.1 and the 7.1, but it sounded great. I mean, my system was rumbling, my walls were rumbling, vibrating. My wife's texting me from above, turn that down. So that's how I know it works, guys. I get the text from the wife upstairs, turn it down, it's too loud. So yeah, Constantine, a great soundtrack as well. Perfect Circle is on the soundtrack, and I love that song that's in this movie, featured in this movie. I was a big Perfect Circle, like, Tool fan back in the day. But yeah, really good soundtrack, really good sound. I think that for a lot of people, like, the sound is really going to make this upgrade worth it. I think the sound is absolutely terrific. I think maybe even more so than the actual, like, visual quality of it. I think a lot of people are going to appreciate that Dolby Atmos sound upgrade. Now, another thing that people are going to appreciate with this, we'll get into the special features, then we'll do the unboxing, guys, is there is a brand new special feature right here. And look, I got to give it to Warner Brothers. I have to give it to Warner Brothers. They've been doing this more than I think any other studio has at this point. Like last year, North by Northwest had new special features. I think they had a couple of new special features. Blazing Saddles had at least one or two new special features. Twister had a new special feature. And now Constantine has a new feature. And there's more examples as well. I just cannot think of everything. But Warner Brothers is like one of the few studios that are doing like new special features for their releases. And I appreciate that. I do. This is called 2 Decades of Damnation, and this is Keanu Reeves and the director Francis Lawrence reuniting on camera to celebrate the 20th anniversary of the cult classic film. So you actually have Keanu Reeves talking about this movie. You have the director talking about this movie. It's about 14 or 15 minutes long, but it's a good feature. Like I said, I'm not a huge fan of the movie, but it's cool to see the creators come back all these years later, 20 years later, and talk about the film. And I appreciate that kind of stuff. I do, because you don't see that kind of stuff that often. There's also, I think, a couple of audio commentaries. Now, they're not new audio commentaries. They are past audio commentaries, but there are 2 audio commentaries. There's deleted scenes, and there's also past archival stuff as well, making of stuff from, I believe, it looked to be from back in the DVD era on there. And then there's an alternate ending here as well. So really good amount of special features, all on the 4K disc, and I believe the 4K is on a 100 gigabyte disc, so they actually have the room to fit all this stuff. So I think that is good. Don't cram it all on a 66 gigabyte disc. You put it on 100 gigabytes, you give it room to breathe. So I think that's great. Even if you're going to have one disc, at least make sure that disc is a 100 gigabyte disc for sure, especially if you're going to have new special features. But it is always disappointing to not, have that Blu-ray, and Warner Brothers has just cut the Blu-ray completely out. It's kind of just what they do now, so it's really no use in me like complaining about it anymore, because it's just what they do, and I don't really see them changing that anytime soon. But getting into the packaging, guys, I like the cover on this. The gun, I love the gun, but for whatever reason, like, the gun doesn't come into play till like the last like 45 minutes. It's like, this is like the coolest thing about the film, just the gun and the look of it. It's like you don't bring it in till like towards the very end. But anyway, you got Keanu on the front, a younger Keanu. This is post-Matrix Keanu right here. You got a nice spine right there. On the back, you got a nice visual. That's a cool image, cool visual from the film right there. You got the synopsis, you got the special features, all that stuff, specs, information. Flip it over again to the other spine. Take it out of the case. You got the same cover right there. Flip it to the back. You got everything, but then you add the casting list right there. Open it up, and I'm going to take out the digital code. There is a digital code here. And then we got the disc with some cool disc art on it as well. So all in all, guys, look, if you're a fan of Constantine, like that you like or love this movie and want an upgrade, this is a good upgrade. I mean, it's a good upgrade. It's a good 4K. It's a good Atmos track. There's a new special feature here. It's $25.99. It's also, look, it's a Warner Brothers 4K. Usually their stuff will tend to go down in price. That's the benefit sometimes to not, being like so like hung up on getting the Steelbook. If you just want to get the slipcover, like, you can wait on this probably a month. It'll probably go down to like 21 or 22. You wait even longer to like Black Friday, you can probably pick this up for $15. So I mean, like, again, if it's something that you have to have, like you love it, maybe picking up now. And I think it's still a good price, $25.99. Or you can wait till it goes down to even cheaper. But look, guys, I'm going to link this down below in the description. I'm sorry, I'm not trying to be a bummer with this review. I'm just not a fan of this movie. I'm just really not. I don't know if I'll ever watch it again, if I'm being completely honest. Maybe I will again at some point to give it another chance. Maybe I didn't give it a fair shot. Again, maybe I'll check it out in another 20 years when I'm 60. But thank you all so much for watching this review. Like, comment, subscribe to the channel if you haven't already. Turn on those bell notifications for all future videos and follow me on all my social media accounts. Those links are down below in the description, and we'll see you next time.